and TV Uganda, enlightenment on your hands always. A section of residents in Busia municipality are living in fear of disease outbreak over reported poor medical waste management in the area. The concern has been raised by residents from Mugungu B village in the Eastern Division. They allege that drug shops and clinic operators dump medical waste in drainage channels. Then when it rains, rainy water flushes the medical wastes to the water streams and it contaminates water sources, putting their lives at risk to contract diseases. According to residents, the medical wastes are dumped during this rainy season in evening hours. They have appealed to relevant authorities to help them intervene the situation.
Ngaba drugshop okuyiwa ebichafu muno mu mutalo kuba kukosa abaana baife kuba abaana baife buno luguudo guno mutalo muli kubona bulungi bava wano babukira mutalo mwera bagunina mu bwe babanga bayiye ebintu mpiso biba kubisa abantu biba bifumita abaana omwo bakosebwa era nze wange yakosebwa wano ku mutalo ogwo olugumali nalo kuno ku mutwe olw'amaadi agabana okutandira n'ebibatu yiwira omwo mu mutalo
kafuna emirundi ebiri okiwulidde ng'abaana bafumitiddwa empiso wali olaba wansi awo owulidde zijja ne ziraalira n'ekirala twetagana kubuuza okiwulidde tunuulira biva eri ne bijja ne tukola ki ne tugira nsobola okutwala wali wange obucupa bwenjoola n'enjowa wali webuli n'obukuba n'ebifaananyi n'ogamba buubuno obucupa buva eri naye because some of us we are a bit educated we take option to clean. Wano twakoze n'omwana oyo ng'ebicupa bijja empiso zijja empiso yakuba omwana wange awo n'azimba ekigeri okiwulidde but now we have nowhere to go.
Amaadi nga gagwa gati yatera ekikolera kuba olubona amaadi nga gagwire gaidure mu mutalo olaalumuka n'ebintu bye yayiwamu bikulukuta naki n'amaadi gano ebisobola okutukosa nga ife n'abaana baife abantu libayiya tuleka buleka ebyana twaje okubinoonekeza ekyokulya.
Koti ebicupa ebindi bipiso onyola abaana badolere ebipiso becha bakenda nabo nire bicupa basanyisa ondo onyola abaana bayere bana batamuhanwa waba tusaho abona nende bi protectors bakenda nabyo kubatisaho osukunera abana bayere sakira bibaleta nendo budwaye butali na silala butamanyire nende bibera solosa bipampers bino byose bicha nibyechuka eno emwana wefu eno sakira ngakusaba batuyambe batero edala kye ibishe machi bidayi.
Geoffrey Mbulu Kao, the Mugungu Village LOC1 chairperson, said that dumping of medical waste is overwhelming. He said that people and animals have started suffering from unknown diseases.
Kituufu omwalo gwaffe muchafu. Obuchafu ffe bennyini abantu abali n'obukiliniki. Wano waliwo klinik bungi kati owakelesi tugamba bw'oba ng'olina klinik ebintu by'okozesa byokye naye abasinga obungi tebabyokya babisitula babitwalawa mu mwala because omwala guli kumpi nabo kati babiyiweeyo kati babiyiweeyo obucaafu bubeera bungi ate amazzi ago abantu ebisolo byaffe binywa amazzi ago abantu booza engoye mu mazzi ago ne abalima ng'amayuni biki amazzi ago gagenda ki badde divert ne gakola mu nnimiro zaabwe n'abazimba enva greens byonna bikola naye kati obucaafu bungi kituufu obucaafu mu mwala bungi kati okutya kwaffe tubadde tusaba ate twaliko ne meeting ne batugamba ne baleeta ba World Bank ne tutambula emyala gino gyonna World Bank ne gamba town council town council ne gamba bafunye sente ezigenda okuzimba emyala egyo ng'emyala gy'e Kampala bagizimbe bulungi so that abantu bakikozese bulungi ku bya environment singa kiba tegizimbiddwa obucaafu buba bukyali bungi.
Bernard Makoha Salongo, the LOC2 chairperson Central Ward, said that they have tried to raise the concern to Busia Municipal Council authorities, but in vain.
Sihiro tukosa mweria muno niyo koti ebyokulya ende kiliniki kirimo nyingi waba nende abantu koti batunze bifwe bo enamba ihiro bungisire ende soko piti so wesanga nga amachi kabakhosesa machafu akandi katula erwanyi kacha mu corridors so ebiha byefula ebindu ebyosi omukhula kumala kwabiwoshinga byosi byacha munesi mumwalo kwefe kukhudayamu ate nga emwalo eyo khuliyo nende batuka yeneni so esindu esyo sili otukosa muno kotefwe abatunze ano drugshop nende clinics chiliwo nenanu ebindu bino mbasa basiri kubera khusaba mbu government oba ibaberese embeera ndayi banyala babantu ebindu bino baba bisamba bakhayenga khubire mwalo eyo nibabichukheyo so at least becho khuyambakho loba ebindu bindi koti bikanula bibyo bibamu bilwailwaye bindi choka byosi babichukheyo nawe wacho khwesanga mbu khandi eyo niyo eri maji khandi abandu befwe khandi niyo bacha otupa ebindu ebyo bichafu so nanu endwaye sakira obona oti ndwaye esayi cheyongere namba nocha mumadwaliro enamba ihira obungi obona onemulugunya sino ebilwaye bindi.
The Busia Municipality Principal Environment Officer Evan Sibwire condemned the act and said that dumping medical waste harms aquatics, living organisms in the soil, and even crops that are grown around the swamps.
Of the surrounding streams, like a case of Pade stream along Mugungo, Kenya, Uganda-Kenya border, where the clinics in that area end up disposing their waste. That stream serves the community around there. Like if you look at the water protected springs around that place, and also communities around there use much of the water along that stream for their what? For home consumption. Now, if the clinics around there end up dumping this waste in there, they're affecting the lives of the people. You find out that even along that stream, the communities and children around there do bathe in that water. Animals do take water from where? Along that stream. And now, anything medical, you don't know actually the samples which have been what? Deposited there. Because if they took a sample from a person suffering from any kind of illness and they end up disposing there, you never know. When an animal consumes that water, it will end up in the food chain. A human being will eat the meat. At a later stage, you cannot really tell where the disease originated from. It might have come as a chain through the water. The animal consumes the water, then you slaughter the animal. At the end, you are affected. Then even the children who bathe that water in form of swimming, they end up contracting what? Diseases. So it's ideally really affecting our ecosystem. Then also that stream feeds into Lake Victoria through seawall. And when that water ends in that stream, then you will eat it in the chain to go through the fish, and you end up eating what? Poisonous what? Substances. So ideally is a bad habit. I condemn it, and we are going to take it on to see that all these health support centers, the clinics around, have well-aligned system of disposing of their waste.
The Busia Municipality Principal Health Inspector confirmed the cases of dumping medical wastes and attributed it to the mushrooming unlicensed drug shops and clinics in the area.
It is true there is really mismanagement or a nuisance on management or disposal of medical waste in Busia Municipal Council. This is just attributed to illegal medical clinics rampant in town, and also drug shops who are not licensed and authorized. So you find that if they accumulate waste, since they are illegal, they find it difficult to even dispose their waste or manage their waste. But registered ones have always made or come up with the signed MOUs with the service provider, always routinely or quarterly comes to pick their waste. But this challenge is rampant just because there are so many illegal clinics that offer treatment, generate medical waste, and they have no disposal means. So they end up in the environment, they end up in our swamps, and they end up in our service lanes in town. Last year we had also a scenario where medical waste were dumped in one of the divisions, that's Western Division, and that is in Solo Cell. It happened that the neighboring clinics were the number one suspects, but we were challenged when we tried to trace the real origin or the real culprit by maybe picking some of the products they are dumped or abandoned in one of our areas or trenches with what they had in stock. It could not really match, but still we remained suspiciously, and we did a thorough operation to ascertain the authenticity of these clinics. But we found that out of the majority I visited, only 3 were registered and they had practicing license. The majority were not registered, and they were yet organizing another operation on inspection, because we gave them a warning to ensure that they have their clinics registered and authorized to operate. And also we tasked them to sign MOUs with service providers who will be routinely or quarterly picking their medical waste. To our dismay is only that we are still continuing to register challenges. Last month, we again registered another case where waste was dumped, medical waste was dumped outside the fence of one of our health center 3s in Western Division, that's Sophia Health Center 3. But we tasked the neighboring clinic to remove the waste, and it did so, much as it was still denying that it was also innocent. It didn't know where the origin of those waste, but it remained as the only suspicious clinic because it was the only available clinic next to the health facility. So this is the third one that has also been reported to our office or my office, and again it calls for a serious follow-up to especially the clinics we visited and drug shops to ensure that have they complied in terms of their operation, are they registered, have they paid their dues authorizing them to operate or not. And I think when I shared with our head of civil service, he has permitted me to ensure that clinics that are not registered and licensed should be closed. To start with, the suspicious clinics who are neighboring or are just close to the previous reported case where medical waste were dumped in the nearby stream by the names called Pade Stream. This is a challenge to the environment. This is a challenge to the community. This is also a challenge to the aquatic life, especially downstream, because you find that they took advantage of the rains, which washed most of this waste downstream and exposing or extending danger to the neighborhood. This one can predispose any medical conditions or any diseases that one cannot maybe trace the origin or the source of infection, and it calls for collective and joint responsibility of the community, the stake leaders, to report such cases, because in most cases we are caught up in office work, and what happens in the community, we remain ignorant or we remain not informed, only to learn when there is a serious outcry or when there is an outbreak. So we call upon the public, we call upon the stakeholders, the politicians, to be vigilant and ensure that, especially in urban local governments, waste generation and management, it is everybody's responsibility. You, the one generating the waste, you should know what type of waste are you generating and what management system or mechanism do you have to ensure that you don't pollute the environment, you don't pollute the surface water, and also you don't endanger the community surrounding and also in the neighborhood. It is a serious occurrence and practice in Busia that I think we shall engage in different stakeholders to join hands in the fight of this, and even maybe including national offices or officials to come in and give us support in this surveillance to curb illegal medical clinics and drug shops, to ensure that they comply to the operation and operational guidelines in terms of running and doing daily business related to clinics and drug shops to safeguard life and the environment.
Juma Odero, the Busia Municipal Council Speaker, said that they have come up with a measure on garbage management whereby there is a tenderer who moves both in eastern and western divisions to collect garbage per household, and this will address the challenge of medical wastes.
Abakola mu clinics bwe bakwata kasasiro oyo jukira abeeramu empiso, abeeramu ebintu ebisala n'amaddagala bugirita n'amaddagala amalala gali expired. Bwe bayiwa ku myala, first of all abantu bafa balongosa emyala abatali aware tekintu ng'ekyo wekiri, so kisobola kuzenga ki accident. Ekyokubiri, abaana baffe aba Busia Municipal Council amazzi gayinza okuswipinga garbage ono ne gamuteeka awantu ng'ate abaana basobola ku accessinga kasasiro eyo. As a result tusobola okufuna obuzibu ku baana baffe. Naye njagala nzijukiza abantu nti ne government, national government, central government yafulumiza eteeka ng'esaba ndi tekyali kwokya kasasiro, banange togezaako okwokya kasasiro mu kibuga, wadde wo waka togezaako tulina wetuteeka kasasiro tumwokye. Central government yamaze okufulumya eteeka ne police, bwe banaakukwatako ojja kumalira masafu myezi 6. So tuli kusaba toyota kasasiro mu kibuga.